Hi, I'm Matt.
Hey there, I'm Bianca.
And in this video, we're talking about cliques at lifestyle clubs or lifestyle parties, how to feel comfortable talking to new people, how to feel comfortable bringing yourself into other people's conversations so that everybody can have fun together.
So keep watching. So, cliques at the club. This is something that we hear about every once in a while, that people will say that they feel like a club or a house party, whatever, has cliques and they don't know how to infiltrate the clique.
Infiltrate the clique.
Yes, yeah. So how do you infiltrate the clique? Is it okay to infiltrate the clique, or should you just kind of hang out and wait for someone to come over and talk to you?
Well, I think the bigger question is, are there cliques?
Right. I don't think so. Like, I could see how, this is something we've talked about quite a bit, in that I could see how people would think that they're cliques because there are groups of people standing around talking, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk into the club and you're brand new and you don't know anybody, that's going to be what you see, is groups of people standing around talking and having a good time.
Right.
And if you're walking in, then you don't necessarily know where to go or who to stand by, and you go stand by yourself, quite possibly.
Right.
So the thing is that we've found, at least at Club Sapphire, is that no matter who you are, if you walk up to a clique or a group of people and start talking to them, they're not gonna shoo you away. Right? The one great thing, or one of the great things about being in the lifestyle, is that it's not like being at a regular club where you go in and you feel like if you were to walk up to this group of people at a regular club that they're gonna shoo you away. When you walk up to a group at the club, you're new meat. Right? Fresh meat.
Sure.
Right? I mean, you can look at it like that, in that I'm going to be brave and I'm going to walk up to this group of people that I think look kind of fun and introduce myself and say, hey, how's it going? And the worst that can happen is you may find that you have nothing in common with them, but maybe you had a great conversation and then you move on to the next group.
Right. Well, I tend to go back to the question of, are there cliques at all? And my answer to that is just no. When you go to any event, whether it's a lifestyle event or not, and you see a group of people talking, they are talking to their friends. Mm-hmm. They are talking to the people that they know. They're talking to the people that they've connected with at some point in the past, and that they are comfortable with talking to those people. Again, you see your friends, you want to go say hi, you want to see what's new, all of that. And that's all it is. Mm-hmm. But if you're, as you said, if you're coming into a situation and you don't know anyone, and you see a group of a dozen people all standing around laughing and having a good time, and they seem closed off, they aren't closed off. They're not trying to be closed off by any means whatsoever. They are literally just friends catching up.
Yeah. And
in any situation, specifically when it comes to lifestyle, if you join in, and we've done this ourselves as those new people that don't know anyone, and we also have been in the situation many times is that we are people in that group. Mm-hmm. And every single time that someone comes up and just kind of joins in the conversation, they're welcomed in. Mm-hmm. They just are, assuming you notice them. I mean, right. If they're not hiding behind someone or whatever it might be, that you are welcomed into the conversation. It's just people in the lifestyle are so friendly,
right.
That yes, you're right that they are saying, oh, fresh meat on one hand if there's an attraction there, but it's not even really about that. It's more along the lines of, everyone is just so fascinating to talk to. Yeah. Whether you're attracted to them or not attracted to them, whether they're 50 years older than you or 50 years younger than you, it doesn't even matter. Everyone is fascinating. Everyone has an interesting story.
And we all have that one thing in common.
You do all have that one thing in common, and if nothing else, asking those questions: how long have you been in lifestyle? Whose idea was it? Mm-hmm. The things that basically kind of come up.
You always ask, what's on your bucket list?
What's on your bucket list? By the way, what's on your bucket list? I have discovered a trick. This is an advanced trick, okay? But I have discovered this over the last few months because we've been doing this a long time. But I have found there have been a few situations recently where I would meet just me. You weren't there. You were doing something else. Where I would go up to a couple that was new, and I would start talking to them, and I would get to that third or fourth question: what's on your bucket list? And more often than not, the woman has said, well, I've always wanted to have a threesome with another guy. I'm like, well, that's just perfect. I am another guy. What a coincidence. And that's actually happened a few times where it literally was that question. But that's such an interesting question because even if it wasn't just me, if it was us as a couple, we're walking up to another couple and they were brand new and they were like, hey, and we said, what is on your bucket list? And they said, well, we've never been with another couple. And that's very, very common. They're brand new, they haven't done anything, they're deer in headlights, and they're excited to be here at the club, or they're excited to be in any lifestyle situation, and they're at the point that they are ready to play with others.
Right.
It's not always the first time that you're here, it's not always the fifth time that you're here, it's when you are ready, whatever that might be. And that situation itself is a really good way to potentially open up the conversation to eventually move things into the back to play. If they were just like, oh well, we've never played with another couple, we've never done anything, and we are looking for that situation, and that could be you're open.
Yeah.
I mean that could really be the way to get into the conversation of talking to these new folks and potentially play with them. And we always tell people that when you're new, it's definitely advantageous to play with a couple that have been doing it for a while. Your first experience, at least your first experience, if not a few first experiences, should be with people that are experienced, because if you have a new couple and another new couple, they just don't know how to move things forward.
Right.
You could probably talk about numerous situations, especially when we were new, that we just had no idea what we were doing, and they didn't either.
Right. But I think when you're coming into the club and you are overwhelmed with all the new people and all the different and what you feel might look like cliques, I think body language is important too. So if you're sitting off with your partner, if you guys are closed off and close together and talking, with your heads close together and your body language is showing that you're closed off, it might be less likely. People might think that you're trying to have an intimate moment and might not talk to you as much. So if you're keeping open, keeping your body language open, looking around, that kind of stuff, then people are more likely to come up and have a seat at your table with you. If you're sitting at like a long booth and someone sits next to you, say, hey, what are you drinking? Those are cute shoes, or start a conversation with them. It's nice in the lifestyle that there are enough topics that you can start off with to start a conversation, whether you're complimenting clothing, shoes, jewelry, asking what they're drinking, and then all the other questions that we mentioned. How long you've been in the lifestyle? Is this your first time at the club? We're brand new here. What about you? That kind of stuff. Try to keep the conversations going. Even keeping a smile on your face and trying to get eye contact with people. If you're standing there with your eyes down at the floor the whole time, people are less likely to come up and start a conversation with you. So if you're so shy that you can't jump in and start a conversation without someone approaching you, at least have that open body language and being open to inviting in conversations.
Sure. And to add on to that, I tend to see sometimes where a couple is either new or new to the area and they don't know anyone, and they will come into an event and they will sit in a corner somewhere. They'll sit in a booth, they'll sit in the back corner and wait for people to come to them. That's a mistake.
Yeah.
That's when people start to feel, oh, this place is cliquish because nobody came up and talked to me. Okay? It's not their job at any lifestyle event to come up and talk to you. True, there are people like, for example, here at Sapphire, they do have volunteers that do that are actually looking for people that might feel a little uncomfortable or out of place to start those conversations, but it's easy to miss, especially when it's a big crowded event, that type of thing. So it's really something that you have to look at is like, we need to put ourselves out there so that we can be welcomed into this community. It's really not that hard. I know I'm saying that, but it's really true that, like we said, that you can literally just start a conversation with anyone and it flows very, very easily. That being said, if you are in those closed off situations, you sit in a back dark corner, people aren't necessarily going to come to you for a lot of reasons. It's also a little uncomfortable to be in the position of walking up to somebody and starting a conversation. Where, for example, if you are standing, you're standing by a bar, you're standing at, like, for example, they have sit-down chairs here, but they also have like tall bar level chairs that are, and tables that are kind of a little bit more in the middle of things. Those are the places where it's going to be more apt for people to start a conversation because they're standing right next to you.
Yeah.
Compared to you being off in a corner somewhere where you are potentially going to be by yourselves unless you kind of get lucky and someone happens to be brave enough to sit next to you. So you have to be kind of aware of those things. And you often will say, when people are coming to the club, come early and let the party build around you. That's a really, really good suggestion because we'll tend to do that. We'll tend to be here right when they open at 8 o'clock. And there might be a dozen people here for the first little while until the party gets bigger, until the hundreds of people get here. But when it is quieter, people tend to connect with others instead of just standing around.
Sure.
That's a good recommendation to do.
Yeah. I like to catch people at the bar too. So oftentimes if I'm at the bar refilling my water or grabbing a cocktail or something, I can say something to them, oh, cute dress, or oh my gosh, have you tried this drink? It's really good. And then if you start a conversation with them because maybe they're new, I like to bring them back to the table where we're standing and, introduce them to the rest of the people all around us, because I will sometimes flip from conversation to conversation, but at least I've brought someone new into that conversation. They may hit it off with someone else at that table or someone at the next table. So
that's true.
If you're seasoned, try to, keep an eye out for those newbies who are deer in headlights looking for, new friends. Because, that's why a lot of us join the lifestyle, is because we want new friends, right? We just want to have friends with benefits, right? But a lot of us tend to really want to cultivate relationships within the lifestyle. So you never know who you will introduce to. Maybe you're introducing someone to their new best friend. And that's kind of a cool little thing too.
Absolutely. And building off of that, just recently we were at Club Sapphire and we were not right next to each other, and I went and started a conversation with a woman, and she knew of us because people tend to know about us, and I asked her if she knew you, and she hadn't, and I said, oh, let me introduce you, and I brought her over to you, and started the conversation that way, and grew the crowd right there just by kind of bringing people in. Oh, have you met Bianca? That type of thing. And the bigger the crowd, the more everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
So it's just a good idea to just be as social as you feel comfortable with, and the people will the party will just kind of follow you that way.
And try to challenge yourself. Again, if you're a newbie, try to challenge yourself with, okay, I'm going to try and talk to at least 2 strangers tonight. Doesn't need to go any further than that, but I'm going to say something. And how am I going to do that? Think about it before you come to the club. I'm going to compliment someone on their outfit. That's how I'm going to get in. That's an easy one. And see where the conversation takes you. Again, don't have expectations. We always say don't have the expectations when you come into the club, but try to just put yourself out there a little bit more than you would normally. And see how much fun you have.
Absolutely. And with that, make sure you go to www.clubsapphire.net. Check out the upcoming events that are happening here at Club Sapphire, and you'll get some ideas also. Of course, if something is like a theme night, wear that costume, wear that themed outfit, and then you have yourself an in as well. Yeah. Complimenting someone on their outfit. It's a simple one. Especially if you got something, then somebody can compliment you as well. Perfect. Absolutely. All right, anything else you want to say?
I just want to mention that if you're having a birthday this month, don't forget to check the calendar, because the Bombshells will be performing for birthdays. So if you have a birthday and you want to come sit down on the stage while we dance for you, let me know.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.